Hello everyone. So in this episode, we are going to set up a peering connection between AWS VPC and MongoDB Atlas database cluster. Now imagine that you have an application and your application database is in a MongoDB Atlas database. And you want to manipulate the data. Let's say that you have to handle all the CRUD operation, create, read, delete, update operation from Lambda function to that MongoDB Atlas database. So what are the options that you have? Well, you can either enable MongoDB public access so that your Lambda functions that is not within a VPC can communicate over internet and perform those database operations. But this setup is not very secure because since it is communicating over internet, this is vulnerable to internet attacks. So in this episode, we are going to find out a way how to prevent that. Well, of course, we are going to set up a VPC peering connection so that all the connections to MongoDB from Lambda function will happen through a AWS backbone network. Thereby, it is not visible to outside world, so all the internet vulnerabilities, all the attacks will be prevented. So that's the main focus on today's video. I will first explain the architecture and then we will start implementing it step by step. So if you are new to this channel and like this type of content, make sure you subscribe to my channel because I'm releasing a video on every week. So without further ado, let's get started.
Alright guys, so let's start with the architecture diagram discussion. Now as you can see, our database in MongoDB Atlas. Now if I show you the website, so this is the mongodb.com and you can just sign in and create a database cluster for your application. And so that is what that is represented here. So this database is accessed by a Lambda function and this Lambda function is fronted by an API gateway. So we have this front-end application that our users use, and the front-end application is talking to the API gateway, and the API gateway is then invoking this Lambda function, and this Lambda function has to talk to our MongoDB database that is in Atlas or mongodb.com. So what we want to do is we want to secure this connection from Lambda function to MongoDB. Now in MongoDB Atlas, when we create a database, we can choose on what platform this database should run. We can either choose AWS, Azure, GCP or so. Now let's imagine we chose AWS to host our MongoDB cluster. So in that case, MongoDB will create a VPC and then it will create all the resources in that VPC and it will manage it for us really. So it is offered as a managed service. So we don't really have to worry about the scaling aspects. So the MongoDB will handle it, but all the infrastructure will be in the AWS VPC that is managed by MongoDB. So that's what this VPC around MongoDB represents. So how are we going to secure this connection? So one thing is, instead of communicating with this MongoDB Atlas database over internet, we can use a VPC peering connection. So when we use a VPC peering connection guys, all the network traffic will go through the AWS backbone network. So it is not communicating over internet, thereby it is not vulnerable to any internet attacks. So that's what we are going to implement really. So we are going to set up a VPC peering connection between our AWS VPC. Now this VPC we have full control over, but this VPC is managed by MongoDB for our cluster. So we are going to peer these two VPCs using a peering connection like this, and then all the communication from Lambda function to MongoDB will happen through this peering connection. And we will have a sample application that communicates with this database through an API gateway, right? So now let's get started with our implementation. Alright, so you can start by signing up for MongoDB account, and I have already signed up and logged into it. So when you log in, you should see there's no any database clusters. So let's go ahead and create a database cluster, and I can click here, build a cluster, and then I am navigated to this page where I have to choose between shared and dedicated, and also there's the multi-region cluster. And we have to choose dedicated cluster really, because if you look at the features that is supported by MongoDB, the network isolation is supported in dedicated cluster but not in the shared cluster. However, the shared cluster is for free, but dedicated cluster is starting at $0.08 per hour. So I will choose this because we want network isolation. So I'll click create a cluster. And here's where we are picking our cloud provider. So I can choose between AWS, Google and Azure. I will choose AWS, and then I have to pick the region, and I will choose North Virginia. That should do. And there are some other details where I can configure. I will dial all of these things to the minimum because I want to incur minimum cost even for this tutorial. And additional settings, it's all good. Cluster name, we'll call it YouTube demo cluster. And then I'll create the cluster. Well, you have to set up the billing details. I will do that off the camera. So I added my payment information. Now it's creating my cluster. And if you're following along and you have added your payment details, be advised that you will be charged hourly. So make sure, like, even this is for the testing purposes, remove this database cluster once you have done this. So it's going to take 7 to 10 minutes to provision. So until such time, let's create our AWS resources. So I will log into my AWS account. So first make sure that you choose the region where you have created the MongoDB cluster. So that was North Virginia for me. So I'll choose North Virginia region here in AWS. And now we are going to create our VPC. So this is the VPC that we manage. So I'll go ahead and go to VPC. So now I'm in the VPC dashboard. So I'll click your VPC on the left side. And right now I have two VPCs, but I'm going to create a new one. So let's call it YouTube VPC. So here we have to define the IP CIDR block for this VPC. So I say 10.0.0/16. So that will give me about 65,000 IP addresses. I don't need IPv6 for now, and I'll then create my VPC. So it will create immediately. Then I'm going to divide this IPv4 CIDR range into multiple subnets. Well, basically two subnets, one public subnet and one private subnet, but we are not going to configure any resources in the public subnet, such as NAT gateways, internet gateways, because we really don't need it, because we are going to spin up our Lambda function in a private subnet. And we have configured VPC peering connection, so it can talk to the MongoDB through that VPC peering. Because of that, we don't need to configure a NAT gateway in a public subnet, because we are no longer going to communicate over internet. And that's a really good thing, because we don't have to pay for a NAT gateway. And if you have earlier experience with NAT gateways, it's very expensive really. So that's good. I will go to subnets. So I'll pick my VPC. Well, my VPC is not listed here. Let me refresh it just a little bit. Now I should see my newly created VPC, YouTube VPC, and I'm in the subnet section and there's no any subnet. So I'll go ahead and create a new subnet, and let's call it private subnet. And the VPC, make sure to select the one that you created, availability zone. Well, I select USTs 1A, and now we have to set up the CIDR block for this one. So this is our VPC CIDR block, and we are going to allocate a subset of IP addresses from this range. So let's say 10.0.1.0/24, right? And I think it will allocate about 250 IP addresses. Let's go ahead and create it. Yes, it's created, and I will close this out. And here we go. Yes, we have 251 usable IP addresses right now. Well, I'm not going to go ahead and create a public subnet because I really don't need it for this demo. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an API gateway and Lambda. For that, I'm going to use serverless framework. So I'll take a terminal, cd desktop, and create a new directory in there, VPC peering. cd into VPC peering and start a Visual Studio Code project. We'll close this out and take an integrated terminal, and I have installed serverless CLI globally. The version is 1.63, I believe. Yes, it is 1.63. Now the latest version is 2 point something, but I'm gonna stick with 1.6. Now before creating a serverless service, you have to configure your credentials with AWS. So in order to do that, you can go to serverless documentation, as you can see, and here you can use this command, serverless config credential, and after that you can create a service. Now I'm going to use a Node.js template or Node.js, so this is the command that I'm going to use. So let me copy this command and I'll come to my VS Code, paste it in and hit enter. So it's created, and if it is successfully created, you should see handler.js and serverless.yaml file. I'll clean this up a little bit. So I removed all the comments and I left these three sections: functions, provider, and service. Service name, I'll change it to Lambda MongoDB. Let's create a function, get data. So this is our Lambda function name, and I'll add the same name for get data here in the handler. So if I go to handler, instead of exporting hello, it has to be exporting get data. And then I have defined the event section, and I have configured an HTTP event. So what serverless will do is it will create an API gateway, and then it will create a path. So let's call this path data. And when front end hits this API gateway path, it's going to invoke this Lambda function get data, and the Lambda function get data will have the code in handler.getData, which is in the handler function, which is this code at the moment. Okay, so now let's add the code to connect to the MongoDB from Lambda function. Now we are going to replace this. Actually, I have a new branch in this repository. Well, I share the GitHub repository with you. You can just check out to git checkout. There's a branch called code. So when you do that, you will see three functions appears. Now first function is connect to database function, and the other one is get to do by ID function, and then our normal export function, get data export function. So in this function, we first connect to the database, that means our MongoDB database, and so the database connection is set up using this function. Now we need to connect to MongoDB. So first of all, we need to require the npm library for MongoDB. So let's install that. So I will take a terminal up and I'm going to install npm i MongoDB. Use this version, guys, otherwise you will see some incompatibilities with the newer npm libraries, that is 3.5.2. So just install that. So once it's installed, let me quickly go through this code. First I'm requiring MongoDB, and then I'm requiring Mongo client from Mongo. So this is the Mongo client that helps us to connect to the MongoDB. And in our get data function, so this is the main function that Lambda executes. So first we are getting the database connection from connect to database function. So to this function we are passing the MongoDB URI and the database. Now our database still been provisioning. I believe now it is completed. So in just a little bit we'll take that MongoDB URI, as well as we'll create a database, and that is the database name we have to pass here. So this function is going to do two things. First, it checks whether this database connection is already cached. Now this function is outside the handler function, so that means we can cache our database connection. So if our database connection is cached, we are going to return the cached database connection. If not, we are going to call MongoDB client, and we are going to call this method called connect. And then we are passing the URI, the MongoDB URI passed from here, and we will set some configuration as to what is the pool size and some other configuration, and then we'll get the DB client here. So in the DB client we have DB attribute, and then we are getting a connection to the database name in this database cluster. So this is the one that we are passing in, and finally we are going to return that DB connection. So when we await this function, we will get a DB connection, either the cached one or the new one. So with this database connection, we are going to query our database. Now, in order to show you this database connection really works with the peering connection, so I'm going to query the to-dos table, and I'm particularly querying this to-do with the ID of 100. So I have a new function called get to-dos by ID, which is this one, and that accepts a DB connection, the table, and the query. So this function is going to return a promise, so we are again awaiting that. So in this function, we are just using find one method. So that means given the query, if it is matching, then it will just return one item. So we will get the corresponding to do here, and then we will just return that to do to the front end. So this is all our code in the Lambda. Now next, we need to make sure this Lambda runs in the VPC. So let me quickly take my diagram. Do you see this Lambda is not outside the VPC, it's within the VPC. So when we are deploying this Lambda function using serverless framework, we have to specifically mention this Lambda to be run inside a VPC. So how to do that? So if you go to serverless documentation, there's this VPC configuration section. So in this VPC configuration, we have to just pass in this section of VPC configuration. So it is this particular part. Let me copy this one and get back to my handler function, or rather serverless YAML function. So right now, this is our existing configuration. So let me hit enter here and paste the copied code. So that is our VPC configuration. So in this VPC section, we have to configure two things. One is the security group ID that we are going to assign to the Lambda function, and the subnet ID that we are spinning up this Lambda function. So we have already created one private subnet. So let's go to AWS and then copy the subnet ID of that. So let me go to VPC. I'll go to subnet section, and I'll filter out my YouTube VPC subnet, and this is the private subnet I created. So let me just copy the subnet ID and come back here. I will just paste it here. Well, you can add one or more subnet IDs here really. Now we need to create a security group that needs to be attached to the Lambda function. Now let's create a new security group. So let me go back to AWS, and in the VPC section, we should see security group under security. So I'll go ahead and create a new security group, Lambda VPC security group, and make sure to pick the correct VPC, which is YouTube VPC in my case. And I'm not defining any inbound rules, so I only have the outbound rules. And create security group, write the description. So it's created, and this is the security group ID. Let me copy the ID and come back here and replace it with my security group ID. Now with this configuration, we are ready to deploy our Lambda function inside the VPC. So let's do that. I will take an integrated terminal and I will do SLS deploy. Let's add a stage dash dash stage. Let's call the stage dev. Okay, now the Lambda is deployed in the VPC. So just verify that. So I will just copy the Lambda function name and I will go to Lambda service dashboard. Let me search for it, and here it is. I will click onto that. So on the configuration section, I should first see the Lambda code that was deployed. So this is all right. But the important section I want you to add focus is the VPC section. So can you see now the Lambda is inside the VPC? Do you see this one? And also the security group that we have assigned from the serverless has been applied properly as well. So this is great. So now we have this setup completed. Now let's go ahead and create a database in MongoDB and then create this peering connection between this VPC and the MongoDB VPC. So for that, I will go to MongoDB, and as you can see, it is already now created. So what I'm going to do is I will click collections. So this is the cluster I created. So I'll go ahead and click collections. So I don't have any collections so far. So I'm going to click here to add my first database. So I'll add the database name as my to-dos and the collection name as to-dos. And I just create it. And here you go. Our database name, my to-dos, and the table name or the collection name, to-dos. So I will go ahead and add a document into the to-dos collection. I'll click insert document So let's add a ID, and this is an integer. The one that we are querying from the lambda is 100, so we'll add that one here. And I'll add another one, title, publish the YouTube video. So I'll insert this one. So the record is inserted. So I'll insert another one. So let's say this time the ID is 101 and the title is Eat Breakfast, and I'll insert that one as well. So that's enough. So we have two to-dos. So with our query, it should only return this one. Now we need to do a couple of things. Now first, let's create the VPC peering connection between the cluster VPC and our AWS VPC, this part. So I will go to Network Access under Security section, and I will select the tab Peering. Then there's a button Add Peering Connection. Click on that. So I have to choose the provider, which is AWS. Click Next. Then I have to add the account ID. Now you can find the account ID if you go to your AWS, and if you click here, then you get the account ID. So I'll just copy that one and I'll paste it here. Then I have to put the VPC ID. So I'll go back to my VPC and click on the VPCs again. So the VPC ID for my YouTube VPC is this one. So let me copy this one from here and paste it there. And the VPC CIDR, so that is 10.0.0/16. And the region UST East 1, that is the North Virginia region. And below here are the details of the Atlas VPC. So they have given the Atlas region and also the VPC CIDR for Atlas as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click Initiate Peering. Now when I initiate a peering connection from MongoDB, I have to accept it from my VPC in the AWS account. So let me go to my AWS account, and in the VPC section, I should see peering connections. Here you go, peering connection, click here. I will do a refresh. So it will take about a couple of minutes to show this VPC peering connection request. And as you can see, when I refresh it, it shows here. So I will select this, and then I will click here, and I'm going to accept the request from MongoDB. Okay, I accept it, close. So now the peering connection is active, but it will take some time to update the status in the MongoDB. So in the meantime, let's create a connection string to our database. So I'll go to clusters, and then I'll click connect here. So I have to create a database user test and some password. So I'll generate a password, and here's the password, and I will delete this entire cluster before publishing this video anyway. So I'll click create database user, and then I'll click choose a connection method. So I need to connect it from our Lambda function. So connect from your application, and here we have the DB string. So let me just copy it here. Well, now I have the connection string. So I will go back to my code and update the MongoDB URI or the connection string right here. And I have to paste the database name, my to-dos. And here also I have to again pass the DB name, my to-dos. Yes, this should do. So I will just take a terminal and I will deploy or redeploy my Lambda function with these connection details. SLS deploy --stage dev. Alright, so the new code is deployed. Now let's come and see if our peering connection is properly set up now. So it still says waiting for approval. Now that's alright. So what we're going to do is we do some more configuration at the AWS end, because it shows active here in AWS. So the main configuration that we have to add is to make sure that all outbound requests from Lambda functions goes through this peering connection. So in order to do that, let's go to our VPC, and I'll select the YouTube VPC here, and I'll go to subnet really. So this is the private subnet, and if I scroll this little bit up, there's a route table associated with this subnet. So in the route table, we have to specifically say all the requests to MongoDB should go through this peering connection. So how do we capture all the IP addresses of the MongoDB? So that is very easy. You can go to MongoDB, and do you see it already provides us a CIDR or the IP address range of this MongoDB cluster. So let me just copy this one and I'll go back to the subnet and I'm going to edit the route table. So I rather go to this link, so it will just open up our route table, and here there's a section called routes. So at the moment we have only one route, so that is our local route. So I will click edit and I'm going to add a new route with this CIDR range, and this is our MongoDB cluster IP range, and the target should be the peering connection. And you can see that's this peering connection option. Just click that and then it will suggest us the peering connection we just created earlier. Click that and then save the routes. Perfect. So now we see the new entry here. And there's a one other thing that you must verify. So that is, if you go to your VPC, select your VPC and go to action, and there's these two settings, DNS host names and DNS resolution. Make sure both these settings are enabled. So right now the DNS hostname is not enabled. I will go ahead and enable it, save changes. And again, I will go to actions and click DNS resolution. So it is already enabled. So these two settings will make sure all the private IP resolution will happen through the peering connection. So I'll save changes again. So now we have properly set up the peering connection. But I have to make sure whether the status is now enabled. Well, we have to wait until this is completed. So it will take about 15-20 minutes. So I'll pause the video and start once it is completed. So now it's completed. You can see the status is available. So let's check this out. So I will just copy the endpoint of the API gateway that trigger this Lambda. And I will rather just open it in a browser. That will also should work. And here we go. We got the result, and this is the data that is coming from the database, which has no access to internet. Now I want to show you one other settings. That is, if I go to network access, you can go to IP lists, and as you can see, it is allowing only the private IP range or the CIDR range of our VPC to access our database. Now this is what I want to show you guys. Now I hope you guys understand how to connect to your MongoDB Atlas database from your Lambda function over the AWS Backbone network using a VPC peering connection. So thanks for watching guys. I'll see you in another video.